All right, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for keeping it tuned right here at Kirk TV. My name is Faith Kaulu. Very first session of Family Saturday, and we are talking about intentional dating. And to do this, I'm not alone. Today, this very chilly cold morning, I'm joined by Philip and Christine Wainaina. Karibuni sana to our studios today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for making time for us and for our viewers as well. I believe this is such a critical issue we need to talk about. Yes. But before we do, Philip, tell us about yourselves.
Thank you for having us in Kuturausha very early in the morning to come share. Yeah. So I'm Philip Wainaina. This is my wife, Christine Wageshi, all the way from Thika, Trinity Chapel, Thika.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably could also tell our viewers that you've been doing the premarital counseling classes for how long?
We've been doing premarital counseling for about 11 years now. We got married 11 years ago. Is it 11 or 12? Depends on who's counting.
Yeah.
We did our PMCC classes at Karura Community Chapel. And so we walked in as students. And we keep joking that we never left. See, tulikatalia. Tulikatalia tu huko.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got trained by the pastoral team to mentor. And then we were a group of co-facilitators.
Okay.
And then one day tukaachiwa tu class. Endelea.
Yeah.
And we found it very beneficial because I think we both gained a lot. We entered that class knowing what we know.
Yeah.
Then we found out hatujui, we don't know anything. And so we found it very beneficial. So we never left.
Okay.
Then of course we transitioned to move to Thika, joined Trinity Chapel Ruiru first, continued teaching class there.
Okay.
And then now we ended up in Trinity Chapel Thika. Because that's where we live.
Yeah. Christine, for being a mentor and a facilitator to so many couples for such a long time, how has it been?
It's been a long journey because you get different couples who think they want to get married. Yes, they go through the classes, some stop classes because they've come and learned about themselves, they've come and learned about their class and how to go on about in marriage. But it's also been a very good learning process for us.
Okay.
So we keep learning and rediscovering ourselves as a couple.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's been a very good journey. Yeah.
All right. Dear viewer, even as we continue with intentional dating today, interact with us on our socials, Facebook and YouTube. We are live, Kirk TV Kenya. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, throw them there and we'll be looking at them. Our SMS number is also 0111 220044. Talk to us this morning. Let's start with, the very question that a lot of people ask when we're talking about intentional dating. Then here comes the question, what is the difference between dating and courtship? We'll start with you, Philip.
I don't know. I guess I have a different way of looking at it. For me, dating is more or less the interview process. I am looking to fill a position of wife. So I am taking interviews. Any potential candidate tupatane saa 2 asubuhi nakuja na CV. Right? And then I think now once you shortlist or you identify perhaps this one maybe it can lead to marriage. Then again I think that's when you enter now the process of courtship. Now I guess I can use we're dating in the hope of getting married. So I'm now learning to get to know you better and can this lead to start spending the rest of our lives together. I think for me that's how I'd differentiate.
And it's not a guaranteed that that will lead to marriage.
I not necessarily. You would hope so, but like my lovely wife here once told me when we were dating, it's like two good people may not necessarily be good for each other. You could be two good people, when you get together you bring out some elements in each other that like water and oil. Respectively, they all have their purpose. Once you put them together, they just don't mix. And the saying of kiwacha chika, but no, it doesn't necessarily have to lead to marriage. I think is to maybe kind of have an understanding of yourself, know what you want out of life, know what you want in your partner. Of course, trust in in God, that he's going to give you the right person. And if it doesn't work out, then I guess you try again until you find what works.
I really like the quote, two good people might not necessarily
Yes.
be good for each other.
Yes.
Wow, I think that's wisdom right
Musi-
there.
Musifos,
Musifos issues. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, you know, sometimes you find couples saying, oh, you know, and she's the one who actually made me. I'm like, I never thought about it like that. You could be, where I am, you know, you could be a good person. She could be a good person. But together, and you know, now for us, marriage is till death. In fact, we say there's no divorce in our language. So then you figure, it will always be like this, you know. So then you figure, you know what, no.
Yeah.
We're two good people. We just, you know, this is not right for me. Yes, you may be husband or wife material, just not for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
And that's okay. But that's very okay. Yeah.
Okay. Christine, when we are talking about dating, I like the analogy he's used, ni interview tu. Unakuja na CV tunaangalia. Is there a specific, you know, time to say, okay, now you should be in the dating scene, or right now you should have found someone serious, ama ni life tu venye inaenda?
I don't think there's a specific attitude in the 30s when you start dating. For me, is if you're ready.
Oh, if you're ready.
It could be 20 and you're ready. It could be 45 and that's when you're feeling you're ready.
You're ready.
So there's no time frame for when you start dating. When you're ready to start dating, when you're ready, you feel like you want to get into marriage. I think it's a personal issue. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just looking for someone who's like-minded like you. And you will even be that 20 and you find someone who's like that, and then you're on the same page.
Yes, yes.
And then you can hear dating, courtship, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking about, you know, you're 20, he's 30. Let's talk about the age difference. Could be whatever, even probably you're 25 and he's 45. Does that matter? Because this is something as a society, when you say, my guy is, and people look at you like, are you sure he's not too old for you? You know, and especially for ladies, if they're dating a younger guy, then also there's that look we give them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
For me, age doesn't matter. You know, it's personal growth. You could find a 20-year-old who has walked with God, and you know, growth. Knowing God is your path to growth. So someone is grown mentally, emotionally. Doesn't mean that they should be 50 or 60
Yes.
to be grown. Yeah. So if you've already gone through that personal growth, and you meet somebody, you've dated even like 30-year-olds and you're still feeling there's something here, and
Yeah.
you find a 45-year-old and that's where you find your peace and your relationship is growing.
Yes.
Why not?
Go with it.
Go with it.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
Because there's some 50-year-olds who are still, even you meet and you're still thinking, I can't even interact as a friend.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's about personal growth and personal walking with God. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Do you share the same sentiments?
Absolutely.
Age
Absolutely.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Age is relative. Okay.
Okay.
You have people who could be in their early 20s and they are mature beyond their years.
Yeah.
Then you have guys who are approaching 40, midlife crisis, manenos, and they're still, you know, so age is relative.
Okay.
I think the disclaimer we should have given here is that I think a good marriage, a proper marriage without God, I think is impossible. I think hapo utakuwa unajidanganya.
Yeah.
So if you are at what my wife is saying, if you're in the right space and you're in the right frame of mind, and I guess during the interview, you're asking the right questions, yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's not just about interviewing. You know, you should have, you know, lazima akuwe na PhD in cooking. You know, lazima akuwe na bachelor's degree kupika chapati. You should be asking the right questions. Then I think then that age may not necessarily play a factor in when's the right time to date. I think, and also trust God's timing.
Yeah. Trust God's time.
Because even for us when we met, I mean, I don't know if I can share that, but we met, we did not meet, like we're not, okay, I'm looking to date, it was a very weird time in both our lives. We actually met at a funeral of all places.
Okay.
And we began a conversation that now, you know, so it can happen anytime. I think now but I think also when we met, we were also in the space where you're wondering what next, and I need you need to settle down. I need to, when you're ready, because again, you see, don't give in to pressure.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure from society. You see all your friends getting married. You're like, hey, I'm always a bridesmaid. Why not me? And then so don't. And I think that's also, I think, why some people end up maybe rushing or making an inadvised decision. When you're ready. And I think, like I said, if you intentionally reach out to hear God's voice or God talking to you, then I think, because when we met, I think our life is just, everything just fell into place.
Okay.
And I cannot, then of course I cannot imagine being married to anybody else. So I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that.
Sure.
When we met, we were both on a journey of change.
Yes, absolutely.
We were both individually trying to change, to have the right walk with God. We were trying to increase our faith and see where we can serve in church. And actually that is what brought us together.
Yes.
And we had that in common.
Okay.
Yes.
Which for me was a very, very vital point to have in a partner. Yeah. So from that point on is when we even started doing plug-in together.
Yes.
So we were the same, we were reading the same book and on the same page.
Yeah.
You see some couples reading, you're on the same page but two different books.
Two different books,
One
yes.
is reading Moby Dick, the other is reading Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not understanding each other. So at this stage when we met, we were actually on the same road.
Okay.
And I think it was God's divine intervention because
absolutely.
I was almost clocking 30 when I met him.
Okay.
He was also in 30 like this.
We're the same age.
I can imagine the pressure. Was there pressure at that time?
There was pressure.
Immense.
Everybody around me was getting married.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that pressure didn't engage me.
Okay.
I was at peace. I was even ready to wait until 35. For me, I was not at rushing to get married.
Yeah.
Because for me, I knew the importance of getting the right partner for me. You see someone, you can see someone on the road and thinking, this guy is hot, this guy is whatever, this can be my partner. But he might not be the right partner for you.
Yes.
And for me, when we met, we were both not looking to be in a relationship. We became friends first.
Absolutely. I was about to say that we really worked on our friendship. And I think it's imperative that once you identify somebody and you're looking at it towards like, might potentially get married to this person, you have to work on the friendship. You have to build a strong foundation of being friends where, you see the good and the bad. And I think so we did that actually, you're right.
Okay.
In fact, our first movie date was in church. I'm starting to remember.
Yeah.
I used to take, you see a movie, you go, those days it was Kenya Cinema or 20th Century.
Yeah.
So she's like, hey, you like movies? Yeah, she's like, kuna movie at church. I think it was a Christian, I think Fireproof. I was like, nitakupeleka. So as we passed Village Market, she's like, hatuingi huku. So said, no, we are going somewhere else. And then so some of the things, And I think that's important when you're headed towards marriage or looking towards marriage. And that's why we encourage people to either, do the PMCC class, because it's a 10-week class, and we try and impart you with the tools to help you navigate. And of course, we're not saying we are experts at Isasa. We are there. We are also in the same river, in different boat, trying to get there ourselves. We just tell you, hey, pale kuna kashimo. As we hit that, that shimo, so you might want to watch out for that. So we try to we talk about almost everything. Conflict resolution, we talk about in-laws, we talk about money, we talk about intimacy, we discuss what's God's design and purpose for marriage, we talk about roles, temperaments. That's important to understand each other. This is what makes her tick, this is what makes me tick. How do I navigate? And hopefully in the 10-week process, if you find that you can actually, in fact, we tell couples that we encourage you to fight. When you go on dates, we want you guys to fight.
Okay.
You pigane.
Yeah.
Because of course, if it's all, if it's all honeymoon and all rosy, one of you might be pretending.
Okay.
Yeah. So we encourage you to, we give you the tools to kind of get to know each other deeper. And then you figure out, is this person, am I comfortable spending the rest of my life with this person? Because the Bible is very clear. God hates divorce. So and that's why even, we've done a few sessions where couples have ended up not getting married. And for us, while it's a sad thing, it's also good because now you could have potentially gotten married to the wrong person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And speaking about, the premarital counseling classes,
Yes.
how important are they? Because one might say, really, mbona niende hiyo class, and we know each other, probably we've dated for long or we're childhood friends. What would you tell them?
I think PMCC classes are very vital.
Uh-huh.
They're almost like breathing in a marriage. Because you're equipped with the tools. Because, as my husband said here, we discuss everything and everything that can interfere with a marriage or a relationship. So when you have the correct tools to go, even hata ukipewa shamba, ukipewa shamba without a jembe, without a kijiko, without ile ingine iko hivi inaitwa jifork, what are you doing? You're not going to be able to lima that shamba, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is what we do. So we equip you with the tools, and you have to make sure that you're using these tools when you're in that marriage. Because it's not all roses.
Yep.
There are times where you even feel like this is not for me, but because you're walking with God in this marriage, you remember why you're here. And this is not all about Atimi and Onina. It's about God. And one of the things that God has designed that will test you as a person and create that space for you to know yourself.
Yes,
in marriage.
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, marriage is not for the light-hearted.
Yeah.
But it is very manageable, very doable. Not many people come out and talk about successful marriages.
Yes.
We only hear about divorces. Nobody talks about successful marriages, and they're there. There's so many. And it's such a blissful experience.
Exactly.
To have if you do it the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I think PMCC is very, 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 very important. When we went for our first PMCC, we had an idea of what marriage is.
Okay.
Him, he came from his family,
Yeah.
his parents. Me, I came from my family, my parents. And for me, marriage was what I saw my parents did.
Yeah.
And I can't say they had a bad marriage, but he came from a different family. Not saying that his parents' marriage was bad. Now, if we don't come together as one and implement the tools of PNCC, you see that he'll be bringing his mom's marriage, his parents' marriage, me, I bring my parents' marriage, to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're two different families, two different people,
Two different,
even sisters, right, from
two different backgrounds.
Two
Exactly.
different backgrounds.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking about, both of you have mentioned that you'd have a couple come for the PMCC classes, and then they'll go separate ways.
Yes.
Then someone watching might say, hiya, then let me keep my relationship by avoiding going, because we might find out things that we don't like about each other, or we might realize that we are not compatible and end up ending this beautiful thing that we have.
What's the point of keeping that temporary beauty? Then you get into marriage and find out actually, afadhali we shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. So you see, now you put yourself in a position where you're divorcing.
Yes.
And the Bible says God hates divorce.
Yes.
So it's better you avoid. It's like being told pale kuna shimo.
But unaenda tu.
Wewe unataka kuanguka ndio usemange nilikuwa nimeambiwa kuna shimo. So that you can come out. So it's better to avoid even the injuries, everything.
Yeah.
That's the time wasted. You see?
Yeah.
You might have a beautiful relationship. But is it beautiful genuinely? Is it a genuine? Even with friendships, for instance, let's say we are friends.
True.
Yeah, if I'm not giving you what you're giving me, you see, it's not a reciprocated relationship.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So there's no point of having a non-genuine relationship. Get into marriage, find out for sure we're not even compatible in the first place. It was probably better off as a friendship than where was I going?
than in marriage.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
like what I can add on to that is like when you the question of keeping it to yourself, right? And we've been doing a sermon series about even being thankful, and you should be thankful even in the open and being loved in the open. God's intention and purpose for marriage is something very, very beautiful if done the right way. It can be a very, very rewarding space. You're with your best friend navigating through life and what life has to throw at you. So what PMCC does, it gives you the tools to help you deal with whatever challenges may come, right? The good and the bad. Because, you know, we don't like to believe that the fairy tale that's presented maybe in the movies that, you know, and we are there and it's a beautiful wedding and, you know, and everybody, especially like now ladies, you know, you all dream about your dream wedding. Like, oh my God, you know, I'm going to have Shavari chairs and a white gown and that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But kazi inaanza the day, you know, you say I do. In fact, I keep joking with guys, couples who come for PMCC. Guys will come for your wedding, they'll eat your cake, they'll eat your rice, and they'll go to their respective homes. Mnaachwa nyinyi wawili. And that's when the work begins. And Pastor G likes to say marriage is work, but it can work. That is very true. So PMCC, what it does, we discuss what God's intention for marriage is. And it's supposed to be for you, what my wife was trying to say is for you to find and fulfill God's purpose for your life. And that's why we talk about the role of the man as the head, as the leader, and the role of the woman as being the helper. Because that's what God designed was the woman when he was making Eve, is to be the helper. But what is she helping you to do? Right? You must be having a purpose. You must be going somewhere. And she's the one to navigate, you know. And that's why we say, you know, you come for PMCC, we give you the tools. And if you can do the research out there, a lot of people, in fact, I think the number one reason for people having issues is money. Number one reason for divorce is money. Yeah. Number two, I think, is in-laws, right? Number three is failure to adjust to changes. COVID happened 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
Then people are forced indoors and you realize, hey, I've been married to this stranger for the last, you know, and one of the things we encourage you, even as you get married, the feelings you had when you're dating, that car steamer, that car, you know, that car lovey-dovey, that car spark, you try and continue. Because then, you know, and then, you know, like us men, we're hunters. So once you get the girl, si ameingia box, si kazi imeisha, nope, kazi ndo inaanza. You have to continue. Because again, we are told even in the Bible, what you give a woman, she multiplies, she throws it back at you. Kipea yeye shida, get happy. She knows, they know how to multiply and to pay you. So those are some of the things we try and give you the tools. And you know, there's also another disclaimer. What works for Peter may not necessarily work for Paul. You know, how you use the tools and apply them to your individual situation is completely up to you, individual couples, because your challenges and our challenges and somebody else's challenges may not be the same. So we're just saying that, hey, we are here with you, we're in the same river, we're in different boats. Uko shida yenu ni gani, hata sisi tuko na hiyo shida. And I think as people in the marriage space with I want to say successful marriages, you know, we don't make enough noise, right? You know, nobody wants to pick up a newspaper headline that says, you know, Faith and, you know, what, have been married 10 years and they're having a good time. You know, we want to pick up the newspaper that says Faith finds husband in bed with, you know. Those are the things that, unfortunately, as a society, we celebrate. So I think, and that's why we say thank you for even having us here, is to shout out as loud as we can that, yes, this thing can work. One of the things we've kind of come across in our 11 years of doing this is that a couple comes to us and perhaps they're having a particular challenge. Oh, we married this long and she's doing this and he's doing this. Us guys will be like, conflict resolution. Hawakusoma hiyo. This is a financial thing. They never sat down and talk about it. Because again, we encourage you to talk about pertinent issues when you're dating. In fact, we tell you guys, go on a date. Leo muongelele pesa. Talk about your finances, right? How much do you earn? How much do I earn? How do you want us to be spending our money? How do you want us to be navigating through this? What are we going to do, for example, if 2 years into the marriage you lose your job? I lose my job. COVID happens. You know, we get you thinking about these things, right? Let's talk about something like, for example, roles. What do you see me doing? What do you see me do? Okay, suppose my lovely wife is a CEO, or she's a minister somewhere where she's, you know, respected. She's the boss, mahali yako job. And then she comes home and I'm expecting her to be wife, and I tell her, okay, you know, we're doing this. How do we navigate through that? Yes, because of the challenges, you know. And then now society has also brought in, unfortunately, and I find this very unfortunate, some norms that are becoming, I don't want to say acceptable, but we're accepting them. You hear stories about mubabas. You hear stories about slaves, if I can use those terms. You know, you hear about a lot of women who are just, okay, wacha, you know, and unfortunately some of these pressures also come from our parents. We pata tu mtoto. You know, and we are here saying we are Christians, you know. And then some of us pray for wives, some of us pray for husbands. And from my experience, you know, with God you have to be specific, you know. Wengine wanaomba tu tall, dark and handsome, please God akuje. Mwingine anaombea yellow akuje. Pray for the qualities, so that even when you're opening up yourself to dating or courtship, you're actually, you know, they say you attract what you give. So, you know, pray about the qualities that you want in a wife, right? For me, I say that God knew what I needed, not what I wanted. Yeah, because when I met her, I wasn't even looking. Tulipatana tu. In fact, I think we were friends first. Then you realize by the okay, and then sasa bahati mbaya kwangu, this one can cook. Me bas. It was a rap.
Kaingia kwa box ukafungiwa.
Nilijipata hata mimi ndio nilifungua mlango nikajiingisha kwa box nikafunga. Mku sitoki.
I like what you said. Pray about the qualities, you know, that you need in a person.
Thank you.
And speaking about that, Christine, when you know, you're looking out for someone, how then do you know this is it? This is the one. This is the person I'd like to settle down with.
Okay, for me, I had I had a list. But I had divided it into main qualities. Okay. The ones I can't do without.
Yes.
And then the rest, they can be there, but they cannot.
Okay. Yeah.
It's optional. So when I met him, I was also not looking for a relationship, because as I said, I was into this space of I needed to get to know who I was. I needed to get into the right walk with God. But when we continued discussing, the three main qualities I had written down, he actually had. So it's like, and I was also praying for a partner who I can spend the rest of my life with. When I met him, I didn't know it was him. So we became friends first. We went on dates, we were discussing.
Tell her the 3 questions you asked me. Date number 1. Hi, what are you? How are you? Naitwaje? Date swali ya kwanza.
We met at the week. He was like, can I have your number? What did he say? What did you say?
I asked you for your number or something.
He's like, can I have your number? Or something. So I told him, I don't even know you very well. I just met you. But then I was like, just take it. You can call me anytime. So he's like, I don't promise to call you until tomorrow. So I was like, I don't even want you to call me. Why are you telling me these details? So me, I went home. He actually called the next day. So me, I was like, this guy is not even serious. I'm not even gonna go. So I told him I'm busy. So he's like, so when are you available? So I told him after church maybe on Sunday. So he's like, so when we went, me, I didn't even want anything. The first question they asked him, so what are your future plans? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So you want to know whether someone is a serious person.
You asked me. You're being very PC. Imagine umeenda date. Swali ya kwanza, are you God fearing? Are you promiscuous?
Are you promiscuous?
Are you promiscuous? Are you family oriented? I'm like, whoa, wait. Ask me my favorite color yawa. You know, and that's how we. And for me, I've never been asked those questions. Hey, this one is a different one.
I was not scared because when you pray, God gives you answers.
Thank you.
And And this particular time, I was like, if a person would be scared of those questions,
Out.
they're not the one.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a bit shocked. Then he was like, okay. So he answered very politely. And then he was still there. Even when we were drinking coffee, he was still sitting there. Because normally I do.
You expected me to run, eh?
The way of chasing someone
True.
who is not supposed to be with you.
Yeah.
So when he was still there, I was like, hey, yeah, okay. So we continued talking, and we found that we have a lot in common, actually.
Okay.
Actually, when our birthdays are like 2 days apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's good to be true to yourself. Find out what you want. Partner.
Yeah.
Have those questions. If someone is not tolerating you as who you are, that's not the person for you.
Know what you want. Because then if you don't know what you want, you'd settle for anything.
Anything you don't even be sure what this other you don't even know what you want between this relationship. You'll be very confused. And the only way you can know what you want is through prayer.
Yeah.
Pray to God, ask Him to guide you. Sometimes you feel like God takes too long, but His timing is always right. Because He cannot give you a good person when you're not ready.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, if I had met him 5 years before,
By the way, we don't absolutely.
Ready.
Yes.
Because my thinking at that 5 years before was very different. You see, so you have to get to know who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Even when they tell you, even when you're in marriage, you have to be 100% through God. Even your relationship with God is not atikuja tuombe pamoja kwanza.
Yeah.
Pray first. He needs to do the work as well with God. Then when you come together to pray to God, you're in a same mind, as a proper mentality to be able to even pray to God together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking for the boy child, what were you looking out
In
for?
fact, just to cap on that, when we in PMCC we talk about pray for your spouse, but work on yourself. You know, so you have to also be doing some work for yourself as much as, because the only person who can change, who can create change or inspire change, or is God, right? So that's something very profound. Now for us boy child, yellow. Men, to be honest, are physical in nature. We first, I guess, see with our eyes. We are very visual. So of course there are very lovely qualities that I first saw in her. So the element of the one, I don't think can apply if you're looking at it with the wrong lens.
Okay.
And this is why we're talking about, when I say pray for the qualities, when I of course you meet out people, you know, you go out how we normally meet people. You either meet maybe in the streets, maybe when you're out and about extracurricular activities, maybe when you're in church, people say maybe you go to church, maybe you meet at a wedding, you meet at a friend's party, you meet people perhaps in your day-to-day life, right? And then, like I say, maybe the pressures of society start to make, I went for 2 weddings, 2 of my friends got married before me. Then you start thinking, then even we used to chokoza each other. Who's next? Nani atanguka next? And you find yourself, so now even when you're in that particular frame of mind, so every person you meet, you immediately look at them like, oh, maybe. And then I don't know if in a way you kind of wish it to be so, but you're not really listening to God's voice. You're not really putting that to God and saying, okay, show me if this is the one, right? And then, like you said, if you don't know who yourself, you don't know who you are yourself, you can fall for anything. And I believe that's kind of what happens to people. Then again, you don't ask the right questions. So for me, the element of the one is if you listen to God's voice, if you trust in God to give you the one, and for us, the one could be right next to you, but you don't see it. In fact, we discovered that when we started now talking, after she asked me those 3 questions and I didn't toroka, we both lived on Kiambu Road.
Yeah, okay.
Then dates.
Wow.
Okay? We used to shop pretty much the same. Ilikuanga ni Nakumatt, ya village market.
Yeah.
Right? we used to almost hang out in the same place. There's like a coffee place that used to be in VM that I used to like going with, because now I used to live in the Digs. We actually discovered that we pitanat. We have the same friends. We have the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like ile basha nani nilikuwa haka sikukuona. We pitanad. So it was until I think God's time.
Yeah.
That's what he said. We noticed like, hey, okay, hiya. Hi, you're here. And then we discovered like we've been, the person we went to, may he rest in peace, the funeral. We were like, we connected the dots. Even on this, you were there that day, and you're like, Allah, how come I never saw you? Because guess what? I was not looking for you.
Yeah.
I was not, and then now 11 years down the line, you tell me to go back and get married to somebody else, Ziban.
No.
See, no, but but
okay.
no.
I like the story you gave us, because it shows how God's time is quite marvelous. Let me put it that way.
Thank you.
But also we have to agree it's not easy to wait for his time, because of course there's pressure, then there's self-pressure. You feel like I'm ready, but God ako wapi? I can't see anyone. and also the question of, inaweza kuwa ni huyu ama ni huyu ama ni huyu, then you find yourself falling for just anyone. How then to be patient enough to wait for God's timing amidst all this chaos and questions and doubt?
I think now that is also when you get to a place, because like Sarah waited for how many years to get a kid? Everything in God's time.
Okay.
For me, I guess I can tell you is don't also now put your life on hold, like pause. Okay. I'm waiting for the one, so until I find the one, there's nothing I'm going to do. No, just continue your day-to-day life, have your goals, have your dreams, have your ambitions. I feel that when you meet somebody, the right person for you, it will gel, it will merge. Then you find that, actually you're also working in this direction. See, we go together. Because now then you're asking the right questions. Okay. Because now when you're actively, I think, seeking, you have those goggles. You see they're called rose-colored petals. You see everything. Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe you don't necessarily open up yourself to the right person. And for me, that's, I guess, some of the things that also PMCC brings out, and you figure out, okay, now that I think I found the one, then are we compatible? And 9 out of 10 times you find that, okay, actually yes, but now we need to change. We need to change how we approach this, so that now when we are 70 and 80 years, when I see you somewhere and we are all working with Mekwa Jews, then I'll be like, okay, we made it as well, right? And like I said, we're not making enough noise. Yeah. So yeah.
True. Christine, let's talk about how to know that this is from God. This is a message, this is a confirmation from him that ni huyu mjamaa, or that it is this lady.
How you know is when have you ever worked for something and you're just getting blocked? That's not the right one. When things flow, like now I had been praying for so long, let me tell you, my friend. I've been praying because I'd seen people getting married.
Yeah,
they're not happy.
Okay.
Then I'm like, me, I don't want this kind of life. I want to be happy, and I want the person who comes into my life to love me for who I am.
Exactly.
And the thing is, as we just pray, can I just get a nice husband, whatever it is. You don't pray for someone who will love you for who you are. Who you are is your 80% good, 20% weakness.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that 20% can stink sometimes. For everybody.
Absolutely.
Everybody isn't perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
We're all imperfect in this world. Now, if when God answered my prayer, is this guy came, we became friends. I was able to be myself, my 80% and my 20%.
Yep.
And this person still loves you and still willing to work with you. You just know that it's God working for you, isn't it? He's not judging you. Because you know, even friendship, even you're even thinking this chick I can't even stay around her because she's not genuine enough or whatever it is. He still wants to be around me, even with my 20, knowing my 20%. My chapuness, he knows, and he still wants to be around me. Isn't that God answering your prayer? So you will know, it is instinctive. Like even when you hear that voice and miss the Holy Spirit.
Yes, you go.
So you know.
Exactly.
You will know.
Yeah.
If you have any doubt, there's no doubt, it's a doubt. Isn't it?
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So any small doubt, just know for sure. Haujafika hapo bado.
Okay.
Yeah.
In addition to that, again back to PMCC, we in our discussions, one of we do it over 10 weeks. So one of the sessions, we actually talk about a concept that's called naked and not ashamed. And the naked is like the one for not the nakedness for Adam and Eve, but the nakedness in terms of vulnerability. And so then you ask yourself, this person, if they found out my deepest, darkest secret, if they got to know me for who, and would you still want to marry me?
Okay.
And I think that is something that we kind of overlook in the beginning stages of dating or courtship, because you know, you put out your best foot. Hata ukienda interview, you never tie, you go, you know, you sharpen, you practice, your CV is polished, Sunday best, you come and you're chopping good points, then that's okay. That's who you are to an extent. Then there's now the normal you, the real you, the one that what do you do on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, how do you behave when how do you deal with issues of money, how do you deal with issues of your parents, your siblings, how are you at work, for me, can you cook? Some of those questions I ask. So then if that person still wants to stick around or still loves you for who you are deep down, knowing the very best about you and knowing the very worst about you, then in my opinion you found the one.
Yeah.
And more importantly for me is somebody who, like for her, I there's this katam I use, and for her she's my ride or die. So kama mbaya, I know it's a very good feeling as a man to know that your wife will go to hell and back with you, if I can put it like that. Not at the first sign of kasheshe, the first sign of trouble, bye, see you. Hey, this was it was good. This is this one I know we've been through our own, and again, another disclaimer we tell guys in PMCC, you go there, you have a good wedding, you do the vows, better for worse, sickness and in health, and forsaking all. Let me tell you, each and every one of those vows will be tested at some point in your marriage. Now that's why we give you these tools. Sasa wewe you have to kujua vile uta navigate when they come. So yes, riches will come, poverty will come, sickness will come, health will come. In fact, as I keep telling her sometimes, I'm like, when kidogo chums has gone down, I'm like, bas. Ndizo zinakuja, because it will be tested. So those are things now we try and help couples prepare for, because it's one thing to be in love and to know that I found the end, thank you Jesus, because some people, like you say, it's prayer item. Then you sit there and you're like, I found the one. And your family believe when you decide to get married, there's something about this lady, there's something about this guy that you've seen and you've told yourself, yes, I can see myself with this guy for 10 years. And we say, absolutely, clap for you, we celebrate for you, we'll help people who will encourage you throughout, but we'll tell you, okay, as much as you're trying to enter into marriage, like what my wife said, there's this shamba called marriage. He is a fork, and then mulime, you will not make much progress. So we tell you, okay, this shamba, kuna jembe, kuna tractor, kuna hii, kuna fertilizer, kuna inaweza kosa kunyesha, kunaweza nyesha mingi, you get flooded. We kind of try and impact the tools with you and tell you, okay, and don't worry, we're in the same boat as you. We are struggling just as you. We are not perfect, right? Thank you for mentioning the 80-20 rule. We are not perfect, and then you continue with your life. I mean, I pray, and in fact, the things when I tell my PMCC couples as we wind up, as we pray, is like, it's very nice when you have young love. Wacha tupatane old love. Yeah, I would like to be walking somewhere in the street and I see 70-year-old you with your kahabi then, and I'm like, hey, sasa Faith, bado tuko, tuko, and we all, you know, that's what I look forward to seeing. Not, oh, I got divorced 10 years ago, I've been a single, you know, those things really. That's not what God intended marriage for.
Yeah. Wow.
So even just to add on to everything.
Yes.
That's why we see it was God's. God designed marriage because marriage scouts you, because God is love.
Yeah.
And how is God's love? It's unconditional.
By the way,
marriage scouts you to be able to love this other person with their goods and bads. And even sometimes in year 5 people, we used to think, I'm like, no, how do I even love this guy, and I'm so angry at him.
Na
and I still love him.
Na tumefanya BMCC and we are still fighting.
And we are still fighting.
Yeah.
Then you look at him and then Mungu tu anakuingia and you're just like, okay. So marriage scouts you to love like God loves us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you love like God loves you, you start shaping yourself to be Christ-like. You see, so you can't have love and still have madharau and stuff like that.
Precisely.
So it's sculpting you to live like Jesus did on earth. And I'm sure it was very hard for Jesus. He's come here, he's telling you guys, I love you guys unconditionally.
I'm here to die for you.
These guys are still banging huko kinyuma huko trying to crucify him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he knew, you know, some people kinyuma
Yeah.
Jesus knew, he knew his day is coming. And he knew he will be crucified, because he even broke down when he went to pray at the Mount is it Mount Galilee?
Gethsemane.
Yeah, that one.
Gethsemane. However,
and he found his disciples sleeping instead of praying with him. Can you imagine how me I'd be so angry?
Yeah.
But he was like, how can you guys be sleeping? And then he's seeing Uko Kirende coming with the Judas, coming so that he can be kissed. Can you imagine what he felt?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And God is telling you, I still love you. That is how you're supposed to love your partner. That is how you're supposed to love other people. But marriage, you know, other people wanaweza kukosea nini like kama mtachana na yeye. This guy you're living with him
forever.
Hakuna kwenda till death.
Yeah. You come from walking here the house, you're like, hiya, yo. There's no miracle that he's going anyway.
Hajaenda bado hapa
till death. I think it's beautiful to hear you guys speak. We're coming to a conclusion, and it's just good to see how, you know, your friendship is so visible.
Thank you.
Imagine inaonekana tu.
Tulifanya kazi.
And just as we wrap it up, let's speak about, you know, the beauty of doing it the right way, which is the God's way. So let's talk about the beauty of doing it the right way. I like the fact that you've mentioned that God predestined marriage to be a beautiful thing, you know, and it's full of love, because right now marriage has been painted as prison. You know, let's talk about the beauty of doing it right, of waiting on God's timing, you know, of praying, if you're single, praying for the qualities of the guy you want and asking God to already, you know, what's the word, bless your marriage. You know, let's talk about that just briefly as we come to an end.
You want me to go first? For me, it's like anything you do in life. When you're looking for a job, you research the company. When you're looking to buy a phone, you say, okay, do I want Samsung, Oppo, Techno, you know, whatever is out there.
Yeah.
Pretty much when you even go to the supermarket, you want to buy, is it Blue Band, is it Prestige, is it what, is it what? So then when it comes to marriage, we somehow think that, you know, like you're winging it. We can tutaingia tu tutajua tukienda. And that in itself, I feel already is not laying the right foundation. So while you pray about it, while you ask for divine anointing or intervention towards marriage, come and do the PMCC class in your church. If it's offered, And yes, there are some churches that offer PMCC class that's, half an hour, 30 minutes or 1 hour with your pastor. As we do the 10-week one, it's guided by, we use the Ndoa book by Carol and Mureithi Wanjao, shout out to them, where we delve into the details. We give you the tools. And then also, if you find yourself, and I'm speaking to my fellow students or fellow married people who've gone to PMCC and are in beautiful marriage. Let's make enough noise so that people know that, hey, it's not bad. It's not what is being painted out there. Marriage is beautiful if it's done God's way, because then we get into what God designed marriage for.
Yeah.
And that is coming from the Bible, because it's not, it's not something that is made up by man. It's God's divine plan, right? So then come get to know about what God's divine plan is with your partner. Figure out how you're going to navigate through life. Na tupatane huko mbele tukiwa 70 and we're all still married.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Kristen?
Yeah, for me, the world already has. Ni kugumu. Why don't you want to look for a friend, a partner who you can walk this womaness in this world? It's already hard.
Yeah.
The world is rough.
Yeah.
So you can go through alone, but for me, if you do it right in marriage, you have someone there. You come and vent. Tunaventiana.
Yeah.
You enjoy life. You love each other. You get to live in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Why would you want to walk through this world solo? Ama, you've gotten into a bad marriage, and already there's so many external things happening in the world, from COVID to whatever.
Yeah.
There was in
Ukraine.
In Ukraine. You don't want to go through all this, then you get another bad marriage. Do it properly. You are guaranteed 90% happiness.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed 90% of someone supporting you, 90% of someone loving you,
Yeah.
90% of, because it can't be 100%. Because even you yourself, you're not 100%, you're like 80.
True.
Yeah? 90% of someone being there for you when you have a bad day, having the chance to be there for somebody else, not just yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You want a friendship, you want somebody who you can walk through this very difficult life together. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I look at it.
Okay.
That's the importance of PMCC. Get it right from the beginning. You'll be able to know how to fight fairly and go through life in a decent manner.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
And I love that, because God only wants the best for us.
Yeah.
So even when we enter marriage, you should be with somebody who wants the best for you as well. Yeah, because that's God ordained,
Be
So
with someone who wants the best,
who wants the best for you, or brings out the best in you.
Yes. Yes.
If you find yourself huko kwingine, then perhaps you're not with the right person,
Yeah.
or you're not using the right tools.
Or you yourself, you're not right.
Or yourself, you're not right.
For the,
Thank you.
it's true.
Yeah, that's
Because it's not about
tough
you.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough
Yeah.
truth.
You have to do even before you enter marriage, you have to do a self-analysis.
Ujiite mkutano.
Let me tell you, I did that.
Yeah.
And me, I've never cried like that.
Oh.
Yes.
My friend. Because
Kuja PMCC, it's deep.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
deep. Yeah.
And I could tell where I go wrong. It's very hard to be told you're wrong.
True.
Now you tell yourself you're wrong and you realize you're wrong. It's a very painful process, but it's very inevitable to have that mkutano. Jiite mkutano kando. And that is how you find out who you are and what you want.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, but hey, it's been a lovely journey. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for my hubby. And you can only put God first if you want things to go right. Mungu kwanza. Put God first. Whatever religion it is you are, put God
Put
first.
God first.
Because for me, I think we put to the same boat, isn't it? God wants the best for us, and once you ask Him for His counsel, He responds.
Yeah. True.
Mm.
Okay. Parting shot.
Siwezi ongezea kwa hayo. Si amesema weka full stop. Tap.
Ameweka full
Kisha,
stop.
hivyo.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for coming today, for sharing, your wisdom with us and sharing your story as well. It has been helpful and impactful. Mimi ni Melan, so unajua pia wenye wako home Melan. Put God first if you want things to go right.
Yep.
And there's something you mentioned at the beginning, that marriage is work, but at the end of it all, it works.
Of course.
And for me, that's beautiful. And we end it there today, guys. Right now, for the first session, definitely keep it tuned right here at Kirk TV, because for Family Saturday, as I mentioned, we have so much lined up for you today, from Christine, Philip as well, and me, Faith Kaolo. Thank you so much for tuning in. So for right now, goodbye, but keep it tuned right here at Kirk TV for more. Definitely, we'll be back in a few.